believe that Bucky is the most unluckiest character in the MCU. Like, I know he came in as a bad guy, but he didn't even start out that way. He was just a kind-hearted soldier who got tortured after falling off a train into a snowy mountain. My man got experimented on, lost an arm, got brainwashed into killing people. He lost a fight with Spider-Man. He never gets any legroom in the back seat. He literally turned into dust. He almost lost an arm again, and he even got his butt kicked by a girl. And I'm not trying to sound sexist, I just thought that whole scene was really funny. The Falcon knows what I'm talking about, right Falcon?
Hello girl, kick your ass.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a lot more exciting than I anticipated. It's not exactly better than WandaVision, but I would argue that it's almost on the same level. The show revolves around good old Sam and Bucky both dealing with their own personal struggles, along with the aftermath of Avengers Endgame, and a big group of terrorists led by a teenage girl? The one thing that I like most about this miniseries is the bromance between our two main characters. Sam and Bucky's chemistry is absolutely perfect, and their dialogue is both charming and funny as they're able to bounce off each other very smoothly. Their whole dynamic definitely sends off the vibe of a buddy comedy movie that's similar to films like Hobbs and Shaw or Rush Hour. Well, actually, just Hobbs and Shaw. Both Sam and Bucky are two totally different people from two totally different backgrounds. And while they kind of butt heads at first, they eventually learn how to work together while accepting each other for who they are. And that type of story trope makes it perfect for this drama series. This whole scene with the therapist might have been the most iconic moment in the entire show.
Wait, what are you doing? Are you having a staring contest?
What I also like is how they made Bucky a very likable character, at least in my opinion. He used to be a deadly superhuman assassin, but now he's turned into a socially awkward superhuman assassin, / that one uncle who sleeps on your couch. I found him very humorous throughout the show, and I like that he's grown into a brand new man in this series, and a good portion of his lines are actually pretty funny.
What big three? The big three.
What big three?
Androids, aliens, and wizards.
That's not a thing.
That's definitely a thing.
No, it's not.
Every time we fight one of the three.
So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it first came out.
But what I really like most is how each episode is directed throughout the series. I love the cinematography in this show, because every scene was shot perfectly. There was so much great camera work and slow motion sequences. I mean, just look how graceful this is. My most favorite scene was when John Walker killed one of the Flag Smashers, and we ended the episode with a fantastic shot of him standing angrily with blood on Captain America's shield. This legit felt like a scene from the movie 300. Like, look at his face! I cannot get over those crazy eyes. He's just like, ah! Speaking of which, I enjoyed the concept of a fake Captain America being introduced into the story. And I'm glad that his arc was patched up when he became the American agent, but I was really banking on him being the main villain of this whole thing. My man's fought in wars, earned medals, and all he got in return was being stripped of his military duties and his friend getting killed by a terrorist. Like, you really gonna do my boy like that? So yeah, it totally makes sense why John Walker has turned into an evil Captain America for a little while, because he was in a very dark place. And the fact that Marvel didn't fully capitalize on that is a little bit frustrating, because he would have made a way better villain than the freaking Wendy's logo! Now, I'm not saying that Erin Kellyman is dumb or a bad actress, it's just that we barely know anything about her character. Like with John Walker, we actually have some character depth, but the show didn't really give us enough backstory with Carly, and any backstory that was presented made no sense at all, and was only brought to us through very forgettable dialogue. Now, a good portion of this show is mostly dialogue anyway, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. My point is that the main villain of this series is just a moody teenage girl that's doing all these evil things, and everybody's trying to make us feel bad for her, including the Falcon himself. Like, none of this makes any sense. These people shouldn't be following her, she's nuts! And what right do you have to tell Bucky that he's never fought for something bigger than himself?
I'm fighting for something bigger than myself. And with all the bodies you've collected, have you ever been able to say the same?
Bitch!
If you've seen all the other Marvel movies, you would know that Bucky has fought battles way bigger than himself. Like, for God's sakes, he lost an arm! Carly is just so naive in this show, and I'm so glad that both her and the Flag Smashers got killed off in the series finale. I felt like that scene where the whole van blows up was just the show finally admitting to itself that this whole subplot was crazy and should not continue at all.
One world, one people. Nope.
Aside from all of that, I did enjoy some of the cameos in this show, including the Wakandians, War Machine, Sharon, who apparently becomes the power broker, and then we got good old Baron Zemo with his classic evil doings and his hilariously awkward dancing. I also love the new Captain America costume, because now Sam got both his wings and the shield. I wish that Sam had kept his original name because the Falcon was always a very cool name for his character, but I am totally on board with a black Captain America being brought into the MCU. I never really expected the idea to come to surface because it's not often that Marvel tackles certain topics about race, but I do find it pretty incredible with the way they address said topics through this whole unsung backstory about how Isaiah Bradley was experimented on with the super soldier serum long before Steve Rogers was, especially since it led to a big payoff in the end with the golden statue in the museum. That was definitely one marvelous scene. It's pretty interesting how the Falcon and the Winter Soldier tackles the socio-economics in this universe, where half the population was wiped away for 5 years. We even get this very powerful speech at the end of how the government needs to step up and do better.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up. You people have just as much power as an insane god or a misguided teenager. The question you have to ask yourself is, how are you going to use it?
Well, I certainly know who's going to be our next black president. So yeah, this show has a couple flaws, but it still turned out pretty good in the end. The acting was great, I like the new environments that are being thrown at us, and the choreography was just straight up awesome, because the fighting sequences and all these action scenes were very fun to watch. I will be fair and say that there was meant to be a whole different story plot that was meant to make Carly and the whole Flag Smashers thing a little bit more, sensible, but there had to be rewrites because of COVID and all that stuff. And that kind of sucks, but even then, I could still come up with a way better subplot than the whole Flag Smashers debacle. What, you don't believe me? Alright, so after Lamar gets killed, John Walker goes on a psychotic rampage and kills every single Flag Smasher in that room, including Carly. And then he escapes, and then Zemo returns and teams up with Walker and heads up to New York to try and take over the world and stuff. Then Sam and Bucky go stop them in New York, and then get into a battle with Zemo and fake Captain America, and Zemo almost kills them, but then out of nowhere, Steve Rogers comes crashing down on a rocket ship and kills Zemo once and for all, and then he pops out of the window and says, "Hey guys, I'm back from the moon!" And then Sam and Bucky finally beat Walker, and then they throw him in jail, and Sam gets the shield back, and then everybody celebrates at that sandwich place that everybody loves so much. But post-credit scene, Val, remember her, Val? Val breaks Walker out of jail and helps him become the US agent, and then forms the Dark Avengers. The end. Or to be continued. Where my check, Disney? But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, hit the little bell, follow me on all my other socials, don't be afraid to catch me live on Twitch, and feel free to support me on Patreon if you want to see more of my good stuff. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time, always remember the name, T-Lander.